Hi, I'm Michi, and welcome to Daily Reflection. Have you ever messed up a presentation completely? Because I did, probably more than once, but there's one evening that I remember particularly well. It was around 7 p.m., has been a long day at work, and I have been invited to that event where I was supposed to give a speech, a presentation of around 20 minutes. And I can still remember that I was sitting in the audience. There was still two speakers ahead of me. I was watching, listening, and I started to get a bit nervous because I was almost up next. But I could quite effectively push that away for the moment. And then, roughly half an hour later, I it was my turn finally, and I got up on stage. And as you usually do, I would start my talk. I would click through the slides of my presentation, and words were coming out of my mouth, even full sentences, I'd like to believe. But at some point, I totally lost it. I didn't have control over it anymore, and it didn't work out too well. The feedback wasn't too bad, but the feeling, like, I was sweating, my knees were shaking, and I didn't feel good at all. And I promised to myself that next time I'll do better. But now the question is, what brought me there? And what didn't get me there was the things I didn't do. So, of course, I know what a good presentation takes, but as I was an entrepreneur and similar to other professionals, I was busy, and I thought of myself that A, I'm well trained in that, B, am I have practiced a lot because I've been doing this in the past over and over, so I wouldn't need too much preparation. And then third, or C, I was talking about something that was close to my heart and that I knew by heart because I was invited to talk about our success as an e-commerce business and to tell the story of how we got there. So I know theoretically that for a good presentation, it I have to sit down. I have to come up with, like, I got the topic beforehand, so I didn't have to come up with an idea for the topic. But still, I have to outline it. I have to rework that outline to see that it fits well together. Once I'm happy with the outline, then I would prepare some drafts for the different sections. I wouldn't fully write it out, but at least have some good understanding and a well thought through idea of what each section should be about and deliver. And once I'm happy with that, I'd review it, I'd flesh out the details, I would kick out everything that doesn't support the main message. And after that, I would again go back maybe to the outline, review it once more, restructure it slightly, and work it out. And then at that point, I would start practicing it. So I would simulate my delivery of the talk and see how it works. Do that a couple of times. Once I'm done, I feel confident with my delivery, I probably will go back and record it, see how it actually works, how it feels watching it, and maybe doing that 2, 3 times. And at some point, I would be done with my preparation. And as you can see, there's a lot of work, a lot of effort that goes into that initial pre stage phase. And my rule of thumb usually is, or by now is, that I spend at least 5 to 6 times into or on the preparation phase, 5 to 6 times more than the actual delivery will be. So for that particular example, if I'd have a talk of around 20 minutes, I'd probably sit down for 3 hours in preparing the stuff, practicing it, rehearsing it, reviewing it, um, working on the details. So there's a lot to do beforehand. But still, the question is what happened on that particular day? And what happened is that I didn't do all that stuff. I didn't do anything of it. I put some slides together. It was more or less a standard slide deck we had anyway. And yeah, I just went for it, and it didn't work out. It didn't work out very well. So after that experience, that kind of shame, I said to myself that this is not going to happen to me again. And so far, it has been a couple of years ago. So what did I do, or what do I do nowadays? I do all the things I've just mentioned. And the results are great because my talks, my speeches, I feel so much more comfortable. The feedback is much better, and I can really enjoy watching it afterwards. Yeah, so at that point, I'd be curious. I'm curious what you think about it. How do you prepare for your talk or your speech? And what are the things you do, don't do, and how do you feel about it? It was my pleasure. I'm looking forward to next time seeing you again, and take care. Ah, maybe one more thing, and again, why it is so important to do that preparation, to put that effort in. Because if you look at a speech, at a talk, at a presentation, once you get on stage, once you get up there and focus on the delivery, the only tools you have to work with are the tools you gathered beforehand. And the tools you gathered are those you gathered while preparing for it. And that's why it's the most important part of a presentation. Now, finally, goodbye and take care.